Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Pit Against, a live Flesh and Blood call-in show. I'm joined by my constant co-host, Kevin Smurf Murphy. Kevin, what's up?
Yo.
All right. Okay, Pit Against is a live call-in show. If you'd like to be live on air talking to us about your hot and spicy Flesh and Blood take, join the Pit Against Discord. You can find that by clicking the link that's in the description of this video, or that Kevin has just now put into chat. Then join the waiting room channel, mute your mic or hang out, and then put your hot take in the topics channel. And if we like your take, we'll bring you on air. Speaking of that, or before we start all that, Kevin, I forgot where I was going to lead with that. We were going to talk about a take. So where I was going to lead with that is we were going to talk about a take, just me and you, because it's been spicy, but we actually have someone who I think has an interesting take that I didn't think of initially about it. Okay. If you want to go ahead and pull that caller.
Is that one?
Nathan.
Okay.
I think it's Nathan. Go ahead and ask Nathan, and I'll read our follows that we've gotten.
All right. BRB.
All right. The Armed Pit is in chat. He says evening. I say, hey, hello, how are you? Help me, Jace. He's going to be on later, and that's going to be exciting. He says, yo. But also we have some followers since last time. Darth Prentice, who was on in our last video, has given us a follow. Also, Fighting Walloon and Tokarikson has given us a follow in the last 6 days. That's very interesting, and I have to change the video. We got a new caller on. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Nathan Crawford, and I'm calling from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And good to be on for not the first time, but the second.
Not the last time. And not the last time either.
Absolutely.
So what do you want to talk about on the show?
So I just wanted to kind of talk about the Twitter mishap, if you want to call it. How a logical, civilized conversation kind of turned south very, very quickly and abruptly. And the end point had absolutely nothing to do with either the first, second, or third evolution of the original problem, but like something farther. And so I just wanted to take a second. And I know this is a little long-winded, and I apologize if I'm not giving you guys the windows to speak, but I have to lay the groundwork, right? I have to.
I was going to ask you to elaborate on it and to explain it to people who might not know and don't have Twitter. The smart people they are.
Well, right.
Oh, actually, before that, our friend the Armed Pit in chat says welcome back.
Awesome. So yeah, I was gonna say the exact same thing. If you don't have Twitter, congratulations, you're the winner. You've won. So basically, what happened was there were largely a pool of competitive players on Twitter. I'm not gonna name any names because a lot of those people have further deleted the tweet that they engaged in, and they want to obviously not be a part of the conversation. So I'm not going to further that. Right. I want to respect that. So I'm not going to name any names, so I just want to say that a large group of competitive players said that there was a competitive advantage for the celebrational players getting access to the cards 3 days before everybody else, right? And this could be, you could take two different approaches when saying they have a quote unquote competitive advantage.
Well, to be clear about that as well. So the Celebration one is an event going on in New Zealand right now where LSS flew out a bunch of people, content creators, and a couple of professional players to look at the new set ahead of time, to have this big invite-only event. It's very exciting. everyone's enjoying watching it on YouTube right now. And so, yeah, they were given a playset of the cards minus the Fable of the new set Heavy Hitters. And that's what they're talking. Yeah. And expansion slot.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and every one of them that's there deserved every ounce of it. I don't think anybody on Twitter is mad that they got physical monetary worth cards for free. I don't think anybody cares about that. They deserve it. They're there for a reason. They've impacted the community in some way. Nobody's arguing that. But so basically there's a two-pronged approach on like whether this could be a competitive advantage. It's either a direct advantage to the celebrational players. Okay. Now the thought process here is like, how many of us have either of you went to 2 pre-release events in one weekend?
Yes.
I have not.
Okay.
For every set since I started playing. Yes.
Okay, awesome. So when you walk into when you walked into your first pre-release, you can name X set. The set is irrelevant, right? But you walk into the first pre-release, okay? Now, inside of that weekend, when you walk outside of your last pre-release event, is your knowledge about the cards, interactions, and strategies within that sealed limited set equal? And the answer should be no, right? Mm-hmm. You've learned some things, right? It might be small things. It might be astronomical things like how rules work. You know, there's no telling, right? And so there you have learned something that would increase your odds of winning a future game, period. Right? That's a fair statement. Okay. Yeah. So then the other.
Are you a lawyer by chance? Because you were just laying out the groundwork on this so evenly. There's not a crack in the pavement. What the frick?
No. So I do engineering. It's all boring. But anyway, so basically, the next approach is given the people that are at this event, what I'm about to say, I can say with 99.9999% certainty that they would never do. However, one of the players could take pictures of all the cards, right? They get there 3 days before the event or the calling. They could theoretically take pictures of all the cards, right? And send them to a testing team. They could play copious amounts of games and test strategies, right? And you know, because you're no longer talking about one person. You're talking about 15, 20, 30 people, you know, depending on who it is or what it is or anything like that. And they could come back with information to magnify the point that was previously made, right? And so now you have not just a little bit of data, but like you have a lot of data, right? Yes. Now, once again, I want to preface that statement with these are great people we're talking about. I do not think that anybody there would do that. However, it is not good business practice for LSS
inviting the possibility
to give people the opportunity to make a mistake. That's just not a great thing to do.
And mistakes have happened before. We've had cards be leaked before.
Oh, 100%, right? And so that was the original point. Okay, that was like what Twitter was concerned with. And it was mainly, like I said, just a basis centered around competitive players and competitive play. Okay. Then comes the tweet that changed it all. Okay.
Yeah.
And this tweet would be Mara's. Okay. Mara sent out a tweet and it saddened me to read it. It really did. I can't remember word for word. I want to try to sum it up as. Yeah, thank you. That would be greatly appreciated. But she basically said that she was put into a position where if she won the calling, people would chalk it up because she had an advantage. Right? That was like, to the best off of my memory, that's kind of like how it worded. But if you want to read it, feel free.
It's a really sad tweet, right? So I think it's this one.
It really is. Yeah.
This week should be the best week of my life. All right, I already set it up to pull my heart, make me cry on stream. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me to live a dream, but it is soured now because half of Twitter thinks I'm out to use this trip to shark a calling. I am not. I am busy trying to love New Zealand. Thanks, Twitter. Frick.
Exactly. And then she further made that point, replying to something Kale said, where she mentioned what I just mentioned, how if she won the calling, people would say, "Oh, well, she had an advantage or whatever." And that is like I mentioned before, it saddens me to read that, and it's super unfortunate. Okay, but it's nothing that she did that brought that. Right, I think it was a timing window error on the behalf of LSS that created a recipe that created that situation, right? Because all of this, we're not having this conversation if spoiler season was 3 days early than it was.
And
nobody fights about anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do want to add one piece here. I believe Brian Gottlieb has also addressed this and said that it wasn't necessarily that it was a mistake. It's that it wasn't necessarily possible because of the holidays that had just happened and other stuff for planning a spoiler season and getting it set up and ready to go and having everything in place alongside Celebrational. There were reasons that just the way everything lined up, the spoiler season
timing happens for a reason.
That means
was his response.
Yeah. If that's the case, then that means they released heavy hitters too soon. Right? They didn't give themselves enough time to do all the things they needed to do, right? It's like you make one decision which forces your hand on a bad decision doesn't mean you made the right decision. It means that you
I don't think he was necessarily saying that they made the right decision, but that it was that this is the reason that it
100% right.
So I think we're all like, I think we're all on the same page. We all pretty much agree the same thing. I'm gonna try, for argument's sake, to push back a little bit, right? And
absolutely.
The position I'm actually gonna take is that of so timing is just, when it comes to something like this and scheduling and stuff like that, sometimes things just have to happen in a specific way, and you have to take a certain amount of risk in one direction or another, right? Like maybe other risk factors were involved if you push the setback a week or something like that. Even if it's like push the setback a week, like 2 months before they decided that, okay, in order to mitigate this risk, we'll push it back 1 week. It could cause other problems. We don't necessarily know what those are, but I am going to say that the risk here is not big. Like, okay, let's assume they're not going to, because I specifically from the point, and this is what I heard most about. I actually hadn't heard people talking about, well, they could just take pictures and send it to all their friends. What I had actually been hearing people say was like, well, they just get to see the cards 3 days sooner. So they just get to think about them 3 days sooner.
Right. Sure.
And it's like, that doesn't matter. I'm fighting against that point, is because it literally doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Michael Fang's going to win anyways. It doesn't matter.
I do want to get some clarification here from Nathan on what he's talking about. Like, they get to see, is it just they get to see the set 3 days earlier? Is it they get to play games with the cards 3 days earlier? Is it they're getting to play the Blitz pre-cons? They're getting to do
all of the above.
E-hitters, solo CC. Okay.
It's all of those combined make you more aware of the sealed format because you're just more familiar with everything all around, right?
Yes.
I think we can mitigate all of this risk by banning people from going to 2 pre-releases, because Kevin's a dirty cheater for going to 2. And I don't deserve that kind of... You know how much harder I have to work to get first place at the pre-release like I do when Kevin shows up?
Right.
You don't have that problem anymore.
Oh, true. I'll just easily just coast to the finish line. So
yeah, you just got Tim and Mara now,
and Suarez and everybody else. And Suarez. Holy frick!
Yeah,
because I saw him in the finals last time, and what the frick?
Yeah. So I'm a little bit. I think I'm somewhere in between, where I think it is an advantage that they get to play with the cards sooner, because I think the Blitz pre-con games that they get to play are worth a ton, actually, because they're probably very close. They're not very close. They're going to be reasonably similar to draft decks.
Right.
and you get a lot of priority stuff for sealed, which then sealed is also slightly different. But then like the solo CC is also going to be great because they're actually getting to make the choices, and it's a better process. Whereas the Blitz precon, it's just they're given the deck, they don't even know what the cards are in the deck.
100%. Right.
Just getting to see the set, I think, is basically no advantage. Just knowing what the cards are, I think, is almost no advantage.
Okay.
Because it's getting the reps with the deck and like what your 4-card hands look like, how they interact with the other heroes when you have to block and play your hand is just, there's some things that it's like you get them instantly when you play the game.
Right.
As soon as you draw the 4 cards and you're presented with the attack for however much with whatever on hit, it's like, this doesn't work anymore.
Right.
So,
but if you have the cards, theoretically anybody could print proxies and then stimulate and get the advantage through what you say is the actual advantage.
Sure. I think it is not just in like making distinctions between just seeing the cards, playing games with it, like
100%. It's night and day.
Like,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it is an advantage. I think it is small enough that it exists. It does. And if it can be mitigated, it should. But like,
right.
I don't look at it as a problem that we need to make hay over. I guess.
So,
I 100% agree with that notion. The only thing, like, I'm going to use the example of Michael Hamilton and his preparation for the first World Championship. I don't know if you guys are familiar with his story, but he quit his job.
Yeah,
true.
And literally just dedicated, months and months and months of his time. Now, I don't know if he was taking his winnings from Flesh and Blood and going to the grocery store to feed his family. I don't know his life.
Absolutely.
Right. I don't know. But some people take this game and how the game impacts their life way more than a lot of other people. Right. That's just, some people take it to the highest level. Some people barely touch it at all. And that's perfectly fine. But the reason that competitive integrity is so important is because anybody that is taking your game extremely serious knows how slim the margins are at the highest level. All it takes is a 1% advantage and you're Brody Spurlock now, right? Like, it's that much of a difference.
On the opposite side of that argument, Michael Hamilton just casually on a Saturday decided, you know what would be fun? I'll just win a Battle Hardened. And after having not played Flesh and Blood for 2 months, he just showed up to a Battle Hardened and got first. So
only changing like one card from his previous tournament.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe some people are just gonna win, and maybe the advantage means nothing. I don't know. It just, I don't know. Competitive integrity does matter. This might be a point where you're like, it's just, screw it. The margins are so small, it'll be fine. Right. There's other more important things to think about, maybe.
I agree. My only fear for this situation is, like, say you have like a hyper competitive Magic grinder, right? That's in like the competitive circuit. This is the type of thing that would keep them from playing Flesh and Blood. Does that make sense? Because they could say this and be like,
actually,
so now we've taken a situation where like they may not enter the game because they're not confident in LSS's ability to maintain that competitive integrity because they know all it takes is a 1% advantage. And that's my greatest fear. That's really my only fear with this whole situation. Sure. I'm not going to the tournament. I don't give a crap. Like it doesn't affect me. But I worry about the image and getting those new players. Now, is it going to affect the acquisition of a new casual player? God, no. It's going to make zero impact in that.
Zero.
It doesn't make any sense. But we want hyper competitive players just like we want casual players. And I'm not going to sit here and debate the value between the two because it doesn't matter. But that's
and because casual is more important. So
it probably is, to be honest.
It is. Second hot take. Casual players are worth more. All right. What were you going to say, Kevin?
That one
I can't fight that one because it's probably right.
I'm gonna need a minute on that one.
Yep.
So I guess 2 questions here for Nathan. Would the advantage they get from this event mean more if the calling was CC or sealed as it is currently?
Sealed. That's if it was CC, because if it was CC, right, there's no way that they could have the heavy hitter cards legal because nobody has had time to acquire because the product's not out.
Sure. Okay. So then, like, let's push the release date to this week. Pre-releases were last. So then, yeah, because then if pre-releases are the weekend before, interesting. Okay, so it'd have to be like a situation where there's no pre-release. This is the first time spoilers are shown for any of the cards for a set that comes out today in New Zealand.
Correct.
But also,
Like
you got to think of people who have spoiler cards, and most of the cards were, or like maybe half of the cards were spoiled by individuals too. So
at least,
yeah,
and that's
an entirely.
It's so tricky.
It's a different system.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another point that I saw on Twitter was, should content creators not get to spoil cards because that's a competitive advantage? And I do understand that argument. I don't understand that argument because that's just
it's a dumb argument.
Yeah, it's just literally just trying to pick a fight. But at the same time, you can take something that's a problem and take it at a magnitude of 1/100th of the original problem, and it's probably not a problem anymore because it's so minute, right? And that's exactly what that is. So I don't understand that argument, but I understand why they're trying it. They're just trying to get a rouse, and they probably accomplished that. But
rouse the ancients.
So I guess
in KO.
In KO,
works, bro. Bro, any blue and any red. There's your spice. It's just turned on.
Another question here is the advantage that these players are getting, and there's probably no way to actually quantify this.
Sure.
Is the advantage that these players are getting worth more than the variance, like the variance of their sealed pools?
I'm going to counter that with it does not matter whether it does or does not. I would say that the answer is no, that there's more variance inside the sealed pool than the advantage gained. However, that doesn't...
Besides the point.
Right. Like, I mean, that's just a matter of fact. Like, let's say you open like a pool that's like at 50%, right? And then now you're on the same level as somebody that opened it at 60% because you got that advantage. That's still an advantage, right? But like it's definitely not at that magnitude, right? Like if you just open good cards, like it's your day, like enjoy it.
If you open 2 runners,
just
you're
do
probably
it.
Cooking. Like,
I'm gonna open up a dread scythe. In
yeah, good luck.
Hey, if you can do that, there's no AB in this set.
That would be the biggest brain move right there. Wait, where the heck did William get that? Hold on, Judge. All right. So thank you so much for the call. Is there anything you want to shout out? Like our Patreon?
Yeah, like join their Patreon, because if you're not, I don't know what you're doing, right? Like it's as simple as that. But no, thank you so much for having me on. And the main thing I wanted to do was just clarify the situation. I think a lot of people just got emotionally upset at the situation because like William, just like you said, when you read Mara's tweet, it just, I don't know, it hit me. Like I was like, man, that she should be having a good time. Like that's what it's about.
They posted a video today of like everyone just hanging out in New Zealand. It's like a 30-second video, and it
amazing time.
Yeah, and it starts with James White saying like, what did he say? Like hang loose or something?
Hang loose.
Oh my god, that was so cool. But anyways, it like showed like they were all like not skydiving, like the bungee jumping. Was it zip lining? Bungee jumping, skis.
They did that.
Or on ski boats. Holy frick. And it's like what, I mean, maybe they got the cards in the back of their mind and they're just like churning them out. But I think I would be way more concerned about my fear of heights as I'm falling off of the bridge.
Oh, 100%.
Like
100%.
It just doesn't matter. I don't know. I think that's where I'm going to end. Is I think it just doesn't matter. But I can understand the viewpoint of maybe somebody who's not as familiar with the game, looking in. That does make sense. So thank you so much for the call. We'll see you next week.
Maybe. Okay. We'll see what Twitter drama happens then.
Oh, yes, of course. All right. Bye.
Take care.
That was really interesting. As always, my eyes are opened up. Which one are you pulling next? Did Taylor say anything?
I don't think Taylor said anything.
Did you say anything to Taylor?
Not yet.
I'm gonna type to Taylor while you, I guess, get Allison ready.
Sure.
All right.
BRB.
BRB. I'm gonna be right here. And all right, let's see. What are we gonna say to Taylor? Taylor at Taylor Crawford, other Crawford. Put a freaking take in this text channel. Love you bunches. There we go. Okay.
Hello.
All right, there we go. I think I got it. Oh, okay. Looks like Kevin's back with another caller. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm Allison. I'm calling from Virginia.
Oh, that sounds so nice. What do you want to talk about on the show?
You know, I'm infuriated. I'm downright upset. I am so mad.
Holy
Purple
frick.
Chat is ridiculous. Purple Chat can't take a nuanced point at all. It's driving me nuts. Look, I just want to go to Warrior Chat and have civil, deep discussions about new cards, like that yellow shift the battle tide or whatever it's called card.
Yeah.
I want to have cool discussions about how many should we have, what should we do, because you can't always play that card. It has to have its target. So like it could get stuck. It could do all these things. What does Warrior Chat have to say? Warrior Chat has to say it's a 3-block. Just block with it. That's so. How many? Can I swear on this show?
Within reason. No slurs or the F word, please.
It's so upsetting.
Okay.
Darn it.
I'm surprised about how I was like, no slurs of the F word, and then you were just like, hold on a minute, I gotta rethink the sentence then. I was like, oh, okay, all right. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so
but yeah, there's nothing. They just say just block with it. I can just block with any other warrior card. They all block for 3 except for a couple that were recently released.
True. Okay. So what do you expect out of people on the internet, I guess? I don't know.
I want more, especially out of Warrior Chat. I expect it. So I mean, it's
a
still
more
Purple
nuanced
Chat.
discussion.
Yeah. Though I did see someone talking about having like a private Warrior Chat somewhere, and maybe we can just take the people who can, but then it'll devolve into debauchery, and it'll be my fault because I post so many memes there. Maybe
You are why we people have to have off-topic or meme channels in their Discord, because you just need a place to put the stuff. Actually, no, because if I'm looking at our Discord, you put getting jiggy with it and a picture of a cat getting jiggy with it in the text in the topics channel.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that it's my fault.
I'm just asking if a cat getting jiggy with it is a nuanced take.
It is a nuanced take, and if Warrior Chat could understand that, they'd get it.
Well, I was gonna point at LSS for this problem, because they made 2 new warriors, and then suddenly there's all these like new people going into warrior chats, like acting like they know stuff. Like,
we should ban all the new people.
You should have like Boomer and then Zoomer warrior channels.
Yeah.
Look, I want the hipster Warrior Chat, okay? Just me and like my weird furry friends.
I appreciate your honesty. Okay, so this is very interesting. I don't even know where to start with this. Like,
do you have negative experiences in Purple Chat? Do you have a good time in there?
well,
I don't
okay,
have
so
experiences in purple chat.
yeah, so the most I use purple chat for is, to nobody's surprise, only the UPF channel, which I'm just excited if somebody posts in, right? So like when I first started playing Flesh and Blood, I would put like a message in there, and then 2 months would pass, and then I would put another message in there. Now we get like a message every day, and they're all not great, but they're
all not great.
They're making they're saying things, right?
Are you saying you want your messages to be great again?
Don't put those words in my mouth.
Make UPF chat great again.
Jesus Christ. But like for real, like you could go to purple chat. If you want some angry people to call in on this call, by the way, there are so many people with bad opinions that could just come here and give them. Like it could be more than just me giving bad opinions.
Well, that is probably true. I feel like there's got to be some kind of rule about advertising a Discord within a Discord. But that is a good point. So like, how do we get around this, right? So like, people are making interesting or not nuanced takes. I mean, are you attempting to engage with them and then they're just not engaging back, or is it more of a they just don't know enough about the game to make a solid conversation about a card?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you here, Table of Legs. I started with an engagement and I posted about one sentence, and then that didn't immediately work, and so I posted a brain meme and said, "Whoa, I never thought of that," and then the conversation went downhill.
It sounds like you're instigating the problem.
Look, I may just be there causing problems, but it's because I love them. This is what love is.
That's family right there. That's what that is. Family. You love them by causing problems.
It's just the next Fast and Furious movie. It's Fast and Furious Purple Chat.
Okay, I do think and so I try to do this sometimes, is I definitely try to, because I see people getting like a little spicy in the purple Discord sometimes, and so I definitely try to quell people when they are getting spicy, like just like, well, that card, or someone posts like a deck list in UPF. And then they're like, what upgrades can I do? And they're like, that deck sucks. And it's like, great, thanks.
Yeah, that's garbage. And you know what the response should be? The response should be just rude, passive-aggressive memes. But as I found out, that doesn't work at all. It's not. That's not Mr. Table and Legs. It's not working.
No, that's not working. That's not how that works. All right. So what you got to do is you got to break down, okay, if it's not good, here's why it's not good. Or actually, don't even phrase it that way. I would phrase it like, okay, here are some upgrades I would suggest, or something like that. Or if you have the budget, try this. At least for the instance of someone posting a deck list. But I also think having individual conversations with, like, calling people out is something I do a lot, right? Like, they'll say something like, I don't put that card in my deck, it blocks 2. And it's like, is that the only reason? I mean, do you not play the card for the intended value? What are you doing with your deck other than blocking? And having like a conversation with them and teaching them about the game a little bit? Is that a direction we can take?
Exactly what I'm saying. Exactly. Like, that'd be perfect. Like, you got to try to reason with these baboons. They're totally unreasonable. It's ridiculous. No amount of my meme posting has solved it yet.
Okay. This is what I'm learning. You know, the original take was, I'm trying memes and it's not working. How can we fix this? Well, I think we definitely have an avenue, which might be just a solid, healthy dose, 150 cc's of just talking to them.
Just talking to him,
just talking to him.
Mr. Table,
I mean, it's Discord. It's not Twitter.
Better myself.
It's Discord, not Twitter. You.
I mean, it's the place where we talk about Twitter, right? Like, it's Twitter 2, Return of Twitter.
Twitter 2.
We did just have a conversation about Twitter.
Oh yeah. I didn't hear what the guy before me was talking about, but
Oh, he was talking about.
was he nuanced?
I'm sure you're gonna be fired up about it, but on Twitter, people are mad because Mara gets to see the celebrational cards a few days early, and he was like, "That's stupid. Don't be mad about that."
You know what? That's exactly right. Mara's never cheated me.
This is a great time to point out to anybody listening to this that Mara is a local of all three of us, and we all used to go to the same local store.
Yeah, you know, she's just an honorable player. She plays illusionist, which is disgusting, but I'll put that aside. She can continue to do that. Look, nope. It is not Guardian. God, do I hate Guardian. Ugh.
I played a Betsy game before this started, and I'm actually really liking Betsy.
I hope you're proud of yourself.
She plays very similar to Bravo, which is nice.
Have you listened to your? I mean, honest to God, Bravo.
Oh. Oh my god! Bravo's not that good. We just saw him lose to Lexi on TV.
That's true.
It was a different Bravo.
Starvo.
But, you know.
I mean, Starvo's garbage. Like unplayable, and by unplayable, I mean LL.
Yes. All right. Kevin, do you have any more advice or opinions on how
points.
nuanced points, or like how to get other people to take more, to have a deeper conversation about things, especially like with the new spoiler season coming up? Coming to a close. We only have one more card to spoil, right?
Yes.
The Fable.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just found people who already wanted to have nuanced discussions about the stuff.
Maybe that's it, right? If you're not finding the right kind of people to have these kind of conversations with, keep looking, right? Like, if they don't want to have a human conversation about generic warrior card 7, whatever you said, then I'm sure you can find other people who want to.
Look, I hear you, but look, what I need is a conflict negotiator. Mr. Table and Legs, would you be my conflict negotiator? Would you come to Warrior Chat with me and negotiate some conflicts?
You know, I think this is the resolution that we needed to this particular call is, I'm going to show up in Warrior Chat, and I'm going to make a very spicy take and then end it with, and y'all should check out our show, Pit Against, a live college show.
You're going to be my UN peacekeeping force, and I love that about you, Mr. Table and Legs.
That's also maybe a controversial thing to call me, just like calling me MAGA, depending on who you're talking to. This is just not great.
You know, I'm glad this show is going well. I love this show. I tune in every week when I can. You guys are just wonderful. I just want to give a quick shout out before Kevin throws me out this channel. Inertia is the greatest story player of all time, except for all the players that are better. But, we hate Guardian. Shout out to all my homies here in Roanoke, and I love you all.
We love you too. Holy frick. Thank you so much for the call.
All right, bye.
We'll catch you next time. Catch you next week.
I'll see you then. Bye. I love you.
Bye. I feel so targeted right now. She called me a Trump supporter, a UN worker, and several nasty things about Guardian mains.
Yeah.
Not that one's false, because that one's 100% true.
It sure is.
Frick. All right. Can you pull Taylor in for his second take? Because I like that one more than his first one.
Sure.
Tell him that specifically.
I don't understand the first one, but all right, we'll see.
We'll figure that one out when we get there. We haven't got any more followers since the last call. That is a problem. I need you to go to your mother's house right now, get on her computer, create a Twitch account under her name, and put it follow us, and then also go on our Patreon because we have a Patreon and do things. All right. Other than that, I am reading right now about a certain Magic the Gathering set that I have never played before, which I think is very, very interesting. Oh my gosh! But Kevin's back with a caller. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm Taylor Crawford, and I'm calling from North Carolina.
That's awesome. I love that. What do you want to talk about on the show, Mr. Taylor?
Well, I have two things. One of them is more of a conspiracy theory, and the other one is Ohio sucks.
Okay, let's talk about that second one real quick. Yeah, let's get that second one out of the way first.
So, let me explain. So, there's been a lot of like battle hardens and collies on the East Coast, but they don't mention that it's in Ohio. And have you ever been to Ohio? It freaking sucks.
I lived there
I've never been to Ohio and was like, this is great. I was like, no. Every time I'm in Ohio, I'm either about to get stabbed or I want to go home. And it's like an 8-hour drive. And I'm going to 8-hour drive to somewhere that I think I'm about to get stabbed. I'm not having a good time. I know people beside me ain't having a good time. No one's having a good time. I went to Columbus, sucked. Cincinnati, sucked. Cleveland, sucked. But yet, they keep putting tournaments there. And that really making me angry. I would much rather go to, like, Indianapolis, Kentucky, Tennessee or something. But no, let's go to Ohio, where Ohio freaking sucks.
Kevin, you're fired. He's on the show now. Holy frick. Okay, so I lived in Ohio, and I will say it sucked. And then I'd been to Ohio after I lived there, and I was almost shot. So I completely agree with everything you've just said. If you're from Ohio, we love you. I'm sorry about that. Now, what was your first take?
At Michael Hamilton.
At Michael Hamilton. Does he live in Ohio?
I thought he did. Or is he?
Well, I feel bad for the guy then. Okay.
He's winning worlds under those conditions.
Dude, he worked his way from the bottom, okay? Like, Ohio is the worst. There is no, like, that's just it.
Holy
like, no,
frick.
if you ever tell me you're from Ohio, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry for you. Your trauma must be horrific. We can talk it out. I'll buy a Starbucks drinks.
We should talk about your first topic already. What was your topic?
Yeah.
Your take.
So Dusk Till Dawn is the Homelands of Flesh and Blood. Homelands was a Magic set that was just really god-awful and almost killed the game. And, like, Dusk Till Dawn is the only supplemental set that you would open a pack of cards and you're like, this is Draft Shaft. How do you have Draft Shaft in a supplemental set? Like, oh, cool, my 1-for-3 target light card is in this pack. I was like, why do I want this in my supplemental set? Like, that is, like, I don't understand that set. And, like, the farther away we get from it, the less sense it makes looking back at it. Because they're like, oh, it was never supposed to be draft. And you're like, yeah, bullshit, bullpucky. Yeah, like, there's no way that you can convince me that this 1-for-2 light card is not a draft card.
So I'm looking at the fandom wiki for Homelands Magic the Gathering right now, and it says that they have, it's talking about, there's a section just for cycles of cards, where cycles is where, like, you have, cards that do similar things, but in different colors. It's like the full color cycle of cards, right? They have incomplete cycles.
Yeah.
There's a cycle, and it's only got 4 colors. That is my least favorite thing ever. Like, there is a like non-neurotypical part of me that is losing its mind right now, knowing that is not, that there's no red whatever that cycle is. What the frick is wrong with them?
They did the same thing in Dusk Till Dawn, where they printed like 2 good cards and then the rest of the cycle sucked. Okay, like, are you serious? Like, oh, here's Levia. It's like, oh, that's dope. What does Bolton get? Nothing. Jack. Sorry, buddy.
Here's what Bolton got.
One good card.
Here's what Bolton got. Oh. He's slightly better in the meta right now than Levia. That's what he got.
Yeah, it's because
hot take. Bolton's better than Levia.
Every hero sucks. Every hero sucks. That's why. It's like, oh,
everyone has been dragged down to his level.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Arachne top eight like a PTI. Congratulations. Do you know what his rounds were? He went Bolton into like Riptide probably, and you're like, oh man, this is Arachne's meta.
Really?
Yeah, well, it's Arachne's meta because everyone sucks.
Okay, that's a separate topic. We can talk about that one in a minute because I also really like that. But Frick, what were you saying? So it is the Homelands of Flesh and Blood. You said Homelands almost killed Magic, is that right?
Yeah, it was so bad it didn't sell, and everyone was freaking out.
Okay. Is Dust Till Dawn killing Flesh and Blood, or did it almost?
It definitely lost some locally. We definitely lost some players when it came out, and they bought cases of it and was like, "What did I get?" I was like, "A pat on the back, buddy. So sorry about your set." They're like, "Oh, I was alluring, and I pulled this legendary." I was like, "Oh, what is it? Oh, Dream State? What does that do?" I was like, "Nothing. You can just throw that in the trash, bud."
I'm actually looking at some of the cards from Homeland right now, and they look like Dust Till Dawn cards.
Right? I'm
5 mana,
pretty
3/3, pay 3, tap, destroy an artifact? No, I don't think so.
They actually themed the set after Homelands. Did they not mention that in the interview?
Oh, frick.
They're like, yeah, we were looking at Homelands and we were like, this is it. This is Dust Till Dawn. Except for we're going to put serialized things, which is even worse than Homelands.
Is that bad? Is the serialized things bad? I thought that was good.
I hate it. I hate
You hate it. Why do you hate it? What's wrong with it? It's kind of cool.
Because it's literally just there to sell packs. It's not, cards aren't actually like, yeah, and they're like, oh,
well, if they had cards in it, if they had good cards in it, that would sell packs, right? I mean, the point is to sell packs, so put something in and sell them.
Hey guys, let's get all the whales to gamble more. Let's do this.
I'm okay if the whales are gambling. Just I'm not okay if everyone else is.
Well, the issue is I'm kind of a whale, so this is like a really.
oh, frick! Oh, my bad.
Exactly.
I will say, as like someone who does like buy sealed product when it comes out, this was probably the worst feeling set to open that they've had.
I can agree with that.
Everfest didn't feel good. Like all the Majestics in Everfest are great, but it still felt bad whenever you opened a cold foil potion. I think opening this set feels worse because basically only some of the commons and rares are played in Bolton. Vincent completely flopped on release, and Prism also flopped on release, which meant half of the set just doesn't get played.
Ooh, actually, okay, to that point, they flopped on release. Okay, so let's talk specifically about the cards, not necessarily the heroes for a quick second, because I mean the set is mostly comprised of cards and not heroes. So in what way did the cards flop?
Okay, so like let's read a random rare right here. Lay to rest. Okay. 1 resource, 5 attack, 3 block. When this attacks a shadow hero, it gets +1. When this hits a hero, you may turn a card in their banish zone face down. Light attack.
Okay.
So this reads like if this was a Monarch, that bad? You'd be like, oh, this card slaps. But what am I drafting?
Draftable card.
Yeah, this is a draft card.
Okay. So you're saying this card is bad in the context of a constructed format?
Yes, which is what this is supposed to be selling for.
So is it bad in a limited format?
Probably not
necessarily.
This card would probably be very on rate and very good if it was a Monarch draft.
Have you heard of a constructed limited format? Cube.
What? Oh my god.
Cube.
So, actually,
Cube's a thing. People cube. This is a thing.
So fun fact, James White didn't tell you Pro Tour 5 is cube draft and CC. He didn't tell you? Each player brings their own cube. You sit down and then you pick 1 to 8. Yeah, you vote at your table. Have you ever drafted Pablo Pintor's all Runeblade cube? No, you have not until now. Okay?
You're right. Oh my gosh. No, but cube's a thing. People make cubes. I think a light and shadow cube would actually be really cool to play. Feels weird that it is in the supplemental set.
Be mostly Monarch.
Yeah. How about this? If James White comes out and goes, "This is the cube supplemental set," I'm sorry, guys. I will apologize to everything I've ever said. But he has to say that. He's got to go, guys. I'm so sorry. When we designed this, we were playing too much vintage cube on Magic, and we were like, we should make a vintage cube set. If they say that, I'll be like, I was wrong. Y'all were right. I'm sorry. But he has to say that.
what about frick? I didn't pull up an example for this. There's other formats that this can tailor to, right?
Yes, the tabletop. Was it at home tabletop with my wife that doesn't know what's happening? Yes, great card.
Fair. All right.
She's
You
like,
know,
"What's this card do?" I'm like,
you
"Nothing."
you call it that. I call it commoner, but yes. Commoner's a format. People play commoner.
Yeah, but then there's some majestics in here that should be commons.
Well,
Like,
that,
have you read Dabble in Darkness? Like,
no, read it for me.
0 attacks for 5, blocks 3. When this attacks, banish the top card of your deck. This gets -X, where X is the pitch value of the card banished. Blood Debt. Now, at first I read that and I was like, dude, this card's sick. It's just Shadow, Rabble, Ravenous Rabble.
Yep.
And then I read it again and go, oh, this ends my turn. This card sucks.
Yeah, but what if you reveal a Gorg Tome?
My turn
What if you
ends.
use
This
what if
card
you use
sucks.
old Chain's ability? You do Chain and
This
then
is-
that.
Oh, we could do that in the cube. Oh,
Yes.
never mind. This is a cube card. Oh, I
It's
didn't
a
think of
cube
that.
card.
Oh,
Cube
my
card.
bad. I'm sorry. This is
Oh
a
my
cube
gosh!
card. I'm sorry.
It's a cube card.
It's a cube card. That
No
that
one.
one's on me, guys.
Dusk Till Dawn is not a classic constructed set,
Did they
or at
print
least it's more
shadow
something
cards?
else.
Did they print more shadow cards than Shadow Runeblade cards?
Yes.
Or maybe. I
Yeah,
know they
yeah, 'cause when it-
printed.
For a brand new hero?
I know they printed Chains of Memphis. That's a shadow
Yep.
card.
Going down to Memphis.
Stuck in Memphis, chained to Memphis.
Yeah.
More
And then
more
they,
text
and
on
they
it.
printed
Than,
some. Like the generics were good in that set. I mean, you had to look at like I think Meeps is a sweet card. Hold the Line's a great card. Sensors a great card. You got the worst equipment ever in frontline stuff. I read that like 6 times over. And they're like,
Frontline's
it's good.
fine.
Before you say, oh, but
Uh-huh.
Taylor, have you tried it in Commoner
But
or have
Taylor.
you tried it in Cube?
But
I'll be
Taylor,
like, no, I will probably not draft this. Second,
second, I got a point. There, let's go. No, I think if you look at this at the set and you're like, okay, they're printing a few cards for Prism, a few cards for Vincent, they're printing cards for Commoner, Clash, and well, I don't know if they think about Clash all that much, but Cube, Commoner, Vincent, Prism, maybe a little
Oh,
bit
yeah.
of Bolton. Olivia.
dude, they printed. I totally forgot that they printed a Kasai called a Kasai card because you can just play was it Murloc Hill or something? Dude, I was like, oh my god! I read that card. I was like, I can't wait for this to be my foil majestic out of my case. I was like so excited.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, so there are good cards in here, right? Decimator Great Axe, Dialectic Carapace, Dig Up Dinner. I think Dig Up Dinner is insano style. You could pull a Crown of Providence.
Okay,
Sure
but like,
can pull a Crown of
but
Poverty.
that's like, I mean, I could do that in Cube. It's not a big deal. The only thing that would make this set worse is me opening the set in like Ohio. Okay.
I'm dead. He's killed me. His logic is infallible. Oh my gosh.
This is if you were to rank the sets, this has to be the last set. Like, you cannot convince me that there's any set worse than this set.
You know,
Is
I
this
didn't
worse
have
than
to.
Dynasty?
I didn't have to think about it, and this is worse than every other set. I will give you that. It's worse
Is
than
this worse
Dynasty,
than
right?
Dynasty?
It has to be worse than Dynasty, right?
No, Dynasty's like, honestly, Dynasty's a banger because it just sets up things for the future. Maybe on release it kind of sucked, but like looking back at it, you're just like, yeah, this set kind of knew some stuff that we didn't, and we kind of bitched about. We complained about it.
Do you think maybe that could also be the case for Dusk Till Dawn?
No, my 1-for-2 card is not going to get power crept randomly, okay? I'm not going to go to my bulk Dusk Till Dawn and be like, yes, my 1-for-2 without go again. This is it. This is the tech I need to bring down Hamilton at the Pro Tour.
Okay,
No,
but
that's
what
not
if we
gonna
get
happen.
what if we get a hero that says if you play a 1-for-2, with Go Again, it gets plus 20 or something like that.
I'll be honest with you, still probably not playable. Just gonna be straight up
it'll
here.
just be banned.
Yeah,
Just be
it's like,
banned.
hey. But then you go back to Dynasty, which was okay at first open. Like it wasn't the best, but it had assassin cards.
Yeah.
At least it had the
it had-
entire line of blessings instead of, dropping red.
Like
The cycle.
Instead of cutting off in the cycle.
Yeah, instead of cutting the
like
cycle.
Mechanoid. I'm
Wait,
still waiting for red.
Did Assassin get a blessing?
All right,
no.
now Dynasty is the
Assassin doesn't have a
Homelanders.
So I'm looking at Dynasty, and I think this set just instantly goes above Dust Till Dawn because they printed Steelbraid Buckler.
What would they call it? Blessing of Murder?
Like,
What would they call it?
Steelbraid Buckler might be my favorite card they've ever made in terms of just like design at the time.
Oh, dude, you should see Victor Shield. It's literally just better.
It is. But
As
like
a guy
when
that's
they
been
print,
deep into Victor, I mean, okay, not like that, but I've been enjoying it a lot.
I've been
when
enjoying
they-
playing Betsy.
when
actually.
they printed Steelbraid Buckler like in Dynasty like that at Rare, I was like, all right, they actually care about the game. Like
that's the card that you were like, this
Yes.
is it.
Well, I didn't think it was the pinnacle of Flesh and Blood, but I could tell that LSS cared about players, like, and the game as a whole, like that they were willing to print that card.
Before then, he thought they were just some corporate shell, just some
I'd been
monolith.
playing for 4 months. I didn't know much better, maybe.
That's so wild that that's the card. Because like to me, out of the set, like if someone was to ask me what's the card that defined this set,
It's
wouldn't
Shield
still be
Wall.
Block.
It's Shield Wall. Shield Wall blue.
Point the tip yellow, of course. It's a great cube card.
Point the tip yellow. Oh my gosh. Listen,
No,
if I make a cube, it's definitely going to be majority yellow, so get used to it.
No, like
Haven't you
the
made a
card-
cube and it's you? Please.
Okay, no. So
give
okay,
your cube description.
so I made a cube. Right? It was a generic only commoner cube where all the reds and blues block for 2, all the yellows block for 3. Each pack consists of, I think it's 3 reds,
7
3
cards?
blues, 3 reds, 3 blues, a yellow, and a piece of equipment. 8 cards?
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was 9. No. I think it's 4 red, 3 blue, or vice versa. A yellow and a piece of equipment. The yellow's blocked for 3. Everything else blocks for 2. The equipment's like pretty much all common. And the heroes you get to choose are Bravo, Benji, and Cavden. And then your weapons are Talishar or what's the bad ninja one? Edge of Autumn.
Edge of Autumn.
Yeah. It's great. I think that cube is insane. Plus, I've also made, I guess you can call it a cube, and we haven't really talked about it on this show, but I made a 3,000 card Yorick deck
Yorick Tower.
that supports up to 75 people. That deck is 1/3 yellow.
Ooh, is the other 1/3 red?
One of the other thirds is red.
Okay, but which third?
The first one.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'll accept it.
It's pretty good. We played it before, and you've never seen a more excited group of people to see what is getting boosted off the top of the deck.
That's pretty lit. Honestly, that's
When Will
Nice
actually
1-11.
boosted a Majestic card, and the whole room was just, oh, we were
A
all screaming.
Mechanologist
It was
card?
great. Yeah, actually,
Okay.
it was so hype. Okay, because the Yorick cube is just cards from every set, because there's only 2 of each card in it, so it has cards from every first 9 sets and of all the classes. It's really exciting. There was a point you made earlier that I said I was going to bring back up, and I forgot what it was. What was it? Do you remember? Something to do with
about
like
how-
power level, maybe? Oh, it was power level of heroes. You said all the heroes
Heroes
suck.
versus
Suck.
cards.
You said heroes suck nowadays. That's why Arachne
yeah,
can
which is
win.
fine. Yeah, which is fine.
No, heroes don't suck. This is normal. I was trying to tell Tim this last week. This is normal. This is normal life now. Starvo was a dream. You can go back and relive that in your legacy cube, but Starvo was a dream, this is real life now.
So let me be real here. There are 2 hero powers in the game right now that I think are inherently stronger than the rest, which is Phi and Dromai. And I think those hero powers.
Yeah. Okay. I'm listening. I'm down. I'm following.
It may be the new Prism, but she's held back because everything around her sucks.
Appropriately.
Oh yeah, it has to be, which is weird. Because like, if you want to look at Lexi was the first deck to LL, in which I think that her cards were stronger than her abilities. And every hero before then had the opposite problem, where their abilities were stronger than their cards.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we're entering an area into an era in which we are going to see that the cards are going to start carrying the heroes more than the heroes are carrying the cards.
What?
Like Chains and Heron go again.
What did
Starvo's deck is a cube deck.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah, exactly.
I was there when Matt W did it. I was there. I was in the building whenever he Starvo fused Oakenold 5 times in a row. I was there.
Holy frick. 5? Anyways.
Remembrance, Snosk.
Frick.
He cast Art of War, and I remember everyone in that room's butt clenched.
Okay, so what was I gonna say? The what was Lexi's hero text for flipping a lightning card?
Go again, but
okay, so she just has free go again and free frostbites. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're moving into a new, better Flesh and Blood that's just a little bit more toned down, which I think also leaves room for a more exciting, bigger, more fantastical LL format that our buddy Tim, who's very sorely disappointed about the death of CC, is going to enjoy.
Okay. One more thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Betsy and Victor were both printed as replacements for Bravo and Oldham in a Fab 2.0 world.
Who's Victor replacing?
Yeah.
He would be replacing Oldham as the value-oriented blocking deck, and I think Betsy is more oriented towards the...
No!
Oh no, what did I say?
You just hurt his soul. You just hurt his soul.
What? Where's my elemental? I want a crown of seeds. I need an adult.
Buddy.
This freaking sucks. Victor
what
doesn't say elemental. You're a liar.
About that.
What was it you said earlier today, William? Why does Betsy's math suck? And I just said
I did say
but
that.
Not elemental.
I did say that, but I changed my mind. I was just like, don't play the Betsy cards.
Like now, Telvaria is just gone. It just doesn't exist. Like if you have a box of Tales of Aria, you can burn it, and that's how many cards are playable. And then there'll be like one Tear Sunder left or something.
I was literally about to say.
Yeah.
You know, the one card that's not freaking elemental in the set, and that one's playable.
And New Horizons, Riptide's got to look good.
Azalea can play it.
Azalea can play it, but if you do, you suck. But second,
you should be on more often.
Yeah, you don't want this. But second,
this is a preview for Toxic Tips.
Oh, I love that so much.
Toxic Tips.
That's a great reference. Yeah, that's okay. Anyway, so second, I think that whenever they actually made Victor, the Clash mechanic was a replacement for Crown of Seeds +1 value. When you block, you're gonna get the 1+ value of the Vigor or Might, as though it's representing the 1 value that Crown of Seeds is actually giving you when blocking. Same with what Crown of Seeds was supposed to be, instead of like this crazy engine that it broke. But
do you have a Victor deck right now, or like when you're working on?
I do. I actually started a Victor Discord with like 50, I think probably like 80 people in it right now. Pablo Pintor's in there. You can go talk to him. He's in there talking.
I don't want to talk to Pablo. I want to listen.
I want to talk to him.
I want to shut up
but
and
no,
listen.
So
Invite me.
Victor is just
Call
FAB
me.
2.0 Oldham. Like that's
Interesting.
it. He is literally based on just having better math than your opponent. He doesn't have evasion like Betsy or Bravo. He just has better numbers.
All right, I'm curious.
Not
I'm
better
curious.
numbers per turn cycle, but better numbers for your deck.
What weapon are you running?
No, he's better numbers per turn cycle because of the fact that you can block 6 and still throw a 4 for 8 every turn because of vigor tokens. He abuses the vigor tokens more than any other hero. It almost feels like whenever you found Ponder in a Lexi deck and you're like, this Ponder's really cool. That's how it feels when you have a vigor token. You're like, wait just a minute, I can block 9 and throw 8? What the heck? Thanks, Arsenal.
Thanks, Arsenal.
You have William's attention.
All right, I am so invested right now because I had already given up on Victor. He died like a week ago to me, and I was like,
"Why?
Oh,
what did you do? Like, what did you? Were you like trying to like be like, oh, I'm gonna play Sledge and see what happens?"
No, I was focused on Millstone, and I was like, how does this do anything good? And then it doesn't.
Okay, so let me talk about Millstone for like 10 seconds.
Please.
This is one of those cards. Like, whenever someone's like, "Oh, but Millstone sucks," I was like, "Why are you swinging it early in the game? Like, by the time that you're swinging Millstone to end the game, your deck should already be your blue 8s or your blue 7s or your blue, like you've like cranials, machos, and stuff like that. You're the first 15 turns, you should be throwing like a 4 for 8 every single turn to get a card or two out of their hand to gain value. There's no reasons that you should just be like block 9, throw 4, block 9, throw 4, block 9, throw. That is, what are you doing? That is not how Bravo wins. Like, unless you have are you like yellow staunching people? If you're yellow staunching them, then just don't go play Bravo, bro. But like,
he plays Steadfast.
Steadfast is good. Yeah. Shut up.
What Kano hurts you, buddy? What Kano hurts you?
I can name them. You know them.
Yes, I do. Look, all I'm saying, okay, is that if you're putting Steadfast in your deck, you shouldn't be playing Guardian. That's not like, if I see that in a deck, I'm like, man, you are in the wrong meta to just be playing Bravo. You're like, oh no, there's 18 Kanos around me. I'm like, then just go pick up Dromai and have AB2. Do you know how hard that has to be as a matchup?
I know how hard it is. It's at least, like $500 hard. I don't have that kind of money. How much is a Dromai deck?
Just go Proxy. Dude, just look. If you show up,
I'm gonna borrow your deck. That's what I'm gonna do.
And that's fine. But if you showed up to my armory and you had 80 slips of paper that just said Dromai or Dragon, Steel Gold, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine, man. You can play your that.
Steel Gold.
Yeah, you're like, oh, which one is that? Snatch Dragon? That's fine.
It's got to be a better name for that. Got to be a better name for that.
What are you talking about? That's what the dragon does.
Anyways, so I'm very curious on how y'all deal with Victor because I have spent a very minimal amount of time and decided that in my infinite wisdom, I had figured out Victor sucked. So I'm very interested to see what someone who plays Flesh and Blood for a living actually thinks about it. So
for a living,
invite me to the Discord.
For a living?
Yeah, for a living. You're a pro player, right?
That doesn't. He said he was a whale. That kind of money isn't in Flesh and Blood yet.
Yeah. How about this? I play well enough in tournaments that I can go eat dinner afterwards with the money. That's it.
You play well enough in Flesh and Blood. It's McDonald's.
Exactly.
You play well enough to where you go to events and you're wearing specific clothes for that event. Like, it's got your name on the shirt.
I do have a shirt that has my name on it, but as of right now,
I'm
wearing Hawaiian shirts to every tournament. I'm just wearing Hawaiian shirts. I got people on their toes. I'm already like, dude,
we're gonna have Kevin wear a table pitch shirt with his name on it.
That'd be awesome.
To LA. He doesn't know it yet.
Paying for it. I'm not in the Pro Tour.
Wait,
I don't know what you
Frick.
I'm just gonna be sitting there in the calling on day 2. Like,
I'm going to Hartford, and I've already decided that all these other players already know everything about the set before I do, so they're gonna win. So I'm I'm just
You
gonna
show
play the
up to hang
battle hard.
out. Yeah.
Oh,
Show
dude,
up to
I'm
win a
excited to
battle
play
hard.
Victor in the battle hard.
I'm interested. This is super cool. All right. Well, I think that's about all we have time for. Thank you so much for the call. Anything you want to shout out? Like our Patreon?
No, Ohio sucks.
Interesting. Bold choice
That's
of all the things. Thank you so much for the call. We'll catch you next time.
Of course. Bye.
Bye. That was spicy. Oh my gosh. We got to get... This is why I fight so hard to get Taylor on every episode. Because that man just runs his mouth.
Ohio sucks. Purple chat sucks.
Yeah, this
Warrior
was a
chat
spicy
sucks.
one. This was a spicy one. Holy frick.
They were feisty.
Fired up. And not necessarily a lot of like, maybe we should do these. It was more of just, it sucks.
Screw it. Anger.
I don't know. I think, I forgot to wrap it up. Okay, I would have wrapped it up by saying I think Dusk Till Dawn is going to be, in hindsight, looking like the worst set so far. Does that mean it was designed without good intentions? No, I don't know. It's, it's whatever. It's behind us. Screw it.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think there's still a little bit there's still stuff there that's like interesting and it's going to have some build on it like Dynasty did. That being said, looking back, Dynasty had some really good cards still in it. It had Heat Seeker, it had Drill Shot, I had
the shield you talked about.
Steelbraid Buckler turned out to be really good. Imperial Warhorn was freaking meta defining.
That card was crazy.
Crown of Dominion.
BIOS update.
Pretty good.
Berserk
BIOS
might be big.
Berserk could just be busted one day. Phantasmal
Blessing of Patience
would have been crazy.
Command and Conquer. I heard that card's pretty good. Buckle.
Yeah, it was even rarer in that set than it was in any other set. Like Buckle was also good. Deathly Duet was really good for Rune Blade.
Dynasty wasn't bad, and I think it might be in the future that we see that some of the cards in Dusk Till Dawn aren't as bad as they were, and I feel like definitely Bolton and Levia took more from that set. Looking back on it, than what we thought, right? So we saw the cards, and we were like,
almost nothing.
She not?
All of her cards are still the Monarch cards.
Oh, frick. Well,
because
I don't know. There's some Majestics in there, right?
She got a couple of Majestics in there that she liked, but like her core cards are still the Monarch cards. That they put the whole archetype in there for her, which was banish a card from hand, and that's just bad numerically compared to all the Monarch cards, which are banish 3 cards from graveyard, where you're not spending a card from hand. As soon as you're banishing a card from hand, your numbers are just trash.
Well, it might be like, okay.
She got Shadowpeed.
Yeah, Shadowpeed. I guess that was the one that was in my mind when I was thinking of it. Okay, then I was wrong about that. But when Prism and not Chain eventually show up in the meta, I mean, obviously they're going to have cards from this.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. No, Prism's going to show up when Heavy Hitters drops. I think the deck. I'm very curious to see where Prism lands, because there's some stuff like seeing the new weapon has made me rethink the way I look at the old weapon. And it's interesting. It's really interesting.
And also Vinset, because we were talking about before the show that you have a spicy Vinset list. We're not going to talk about it. You don't have to say anything about it. But I assume it uses Dusk Till Dawn cards?
Yes, considering Gate is pretty good. Yes. I
don't know. Sounds like a win to me. Or a very soft win.
It's at least like 60% Dusk Till Dawn right now. But like this is literally 0 reps on it. This is still just an idea.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's not a piss poor set, and I don't think it's gonna wreck the game like supposedly he said Homelands is, but like it's not Homelands, but it's sorry, we're talking about all of this after you left. If you're watching this later, you'll be fine.
It is the weakest set they have put out, and it's still the weakest set 6 months later.
That does kind of suck. But maybe they just set a really low bar so that they can always clear it.
But like looking at sets 6 months later, because like Dynasty had a decent amount of hype when it was coming out because some of the cards looked really powerful and then they turned out not to be. Dusk Till Dawn was kind of sort of the opposite, where there was hype because it was the first time we were getting new heroes back or getting LL'd heroes back. But then those heroes were nothing like the heroes. And like, it was really, Dusk Till Dawn was really weird because they tried doing a lot of stuff and I don't think most of it worked. I also think it still hasn't worked 6 months later.
I also think it's interesting looking at those heroes in comparison to seeing the new Brute and new Guardians, new Warriors in heavy hitters, right? Because I feel like after having played some Betsy and putting a deck together that I feel comfortable on, she's much more similar to Bravo than I thought she would be. Like she feels very close. And so in the sense where if you pretend that she is the reprint for Bravo once Bravo leaves, which could be the case. I don't know. Maybe that was what they were thinking. But like, if that's the case, then that was very similar as opposed to like Vincent Chain, which is wildly different. So
massively, but it had to be
completely. So like I think one of my favorite things going into the future of Flesh and Blood, I feel like I say this every time, is seeing what the new heroes look like or what new classes look like is the most exciting thing. It's like, well, they've already done this and this is what we understand about it. How is it going to grow or change in the future? And if it is, in what ways? Like I don't know. It's just very exciting to see how the game evolves over time.
Yeah. Cause like then the other side of that is like, you say like Betsy feels like very similar to Bravo and the play patterns are fairly close. And it's like, if that's the reprint, it's going to feel pretty good to transition. And then like, but then you have two ends of the spectrum in Vincent Chain, and it's like, it's not the same.
Yeah, completely different.
I'm coming in as an Icelander player, and I'm like,
this looks kind of neat.
I end up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you've been given nothing so far.
What does the next Ice Wizard look like?
Well, it's an exciting world out there.
Is it going to be like? It's probably not going to be like Betsy Bravo because Bravo's not that pushed. Icelander was pretty pushed, not as pushed as Chain, but actually kind of close because they were both pretty pushed. Gain an action point every turn.
Yeah. I don't know.
The next Ice Wizard is not going to feel like Icelander, and I'm going to be sad.
Because when you deal arcane damage with an ice card,
make a frostbite.
Make a frostbite.
If I get Waning Moon, I'm down with that. That's an interesting thing. It's like, then it's how am I playing? I am a wizard. How do I play on my opponent's turn? That's the piece that they have to make work.
That's the piece that I'm definitely not considering because I don't want to. I feel like I feel like almost all of us, almost everyone on Earth is incapable of designing a good wizard. It literally takes a room full of geniuses at LSS to design Kano. I genuinely, it's because he's so crazy. I remember when he so shortly after he came out, and there was like leaks on Facebook where like LSS members told an individual, they were like, y'all don't know how to play. Like everyone was complaining about Kano at the time, right? This was before Wildfire came out. And even then the devs were like, for us, he's 100% win rate. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. And it was like, what are they doing with him? What are they doing? And it was like, what the frick? I don't know. Like wizards are just, it's a whole thing. They're very difficult to build, plan around. Balance around.
You look at heavy hitters, and it's a fairly straightforward game relative to wizard. I'm gonna put that asterisk on there of relative to wizard. It's very well defined what the heroes are capable of doing, and you've created these 3 lanes of Brute, Guardian, Warrior. Yeah,
the heroes are pretty honest.
Yes. They have their fairly defined lanes of what they're doing, and they stick to it, and they don't break, like they don't break the rules. And then wizard is like, but what if I push this button?
Yeah,
I want to push that button. You're like, no, there's a wall there. I'm like, mage hand, push the button.
Mage hand, push the button. Oh, like, frick.
That's wizard.
Oh, that's funny. It's exciting. I don't know. What is the next wizard gonna look like? What's this mysterious arcane set that keeps getting alluded to? This is so exciting.
Fucking want it. I want it. I want to play it.
Oh
I
god.
want to play it.
Frick, I want Mara to come back from New Zealand and just be like, so they showed us, and they didn't. Like, they didn't show it to her, but then she's just like, but then she's just like,
the next 3 sets.
Yeah, she's like, I know the next sets, and it's just like, you do? Can you say anything about it? No, I'm not gonna say anything about it.
Nope.
Just pretend that they told her everything. Okay.
Yep.
All right. You ready to wrap this up? Anything else you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. No,
All right.
I think I'm good for the moment, other than James White is currently on stream playing round 1 of World Premiere.
Yo! All right. We got to get off right now. Okay, Kevin, any shout outs?
Patreon? The YouTube channel? The video?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Please watch the video of the giant deck box and the gameplay that we recorded of it in about like 2 or 3 weeks. It depends. Yeah, I don't know. All right. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.